Hey everyone, how's it going? The finale to our three-part series on the starter Pokemon competing against each other in Pokemon FireRed and LeafGreen is about to conclude. For those of you who missed it, now's the time to pause the video and go check those two videos out. You'll be gone a while, but if you're back or you didn't want to watch them, that's fair. I'll tell you what happened. Swampert, Blastoise, and Feraligatr were all really close to one another, and which one's the best is kind of a matter of perspective. I literally just ranked them by time. On a tier list, they'd all be in the same top tier, but the grass starters were much easier to rank. Venusaur performed the best, but was still quite a bit worse than Feraligatr. Sceptile was borderline bad, and Meganium was pretty much awful. What I'm curious to see is whether the fire starters also all clump up somewhere on the list, or whether we get a little bit more variation. Are they going to be like the grass types where there's clear separation, or are they all going to be kind of similar to each other? We're going to start off with Charmander. Why? I don't know, Twitch chat chose it, so that's what we did. So we're going to start with Charmander, which, as you know, if you've watched this challenge, will eventually evolve into Charizard. And Charizard is a very interesting Pokemon. We'll just talk about the fully evolved form since that's what we're going to be using for the vast majority of the run. It is tied with Quilava, which we will use later, for the second highest base stat average, but average is a little bit misleading. They're all close. Charizard has extremely good speed and excellent special attack. It's also not bad in attack. Its move pool is also quite varied. There are tons of different moves it can learn, and its flying typing may be able to help it a little bit. Overall, I'd say it looks like a pretty solid Pokemon, but the only way to find out how it's going to do is to, well, use it in a run. Just to go over the rules in case you're new, channel's pretty cool. And I'm going to do this with evolutions next, I think, which should be really interesting and fun. That'll be a long video. Anyway, enough about potential future videos. It's the same rules I always use. Just use the starter in battle. No items in battle. Pretty standard stuff. It is now time for our Charmander, which I did reset for good nature and good stats, to see how it does on its journey. But first, a big thank you to the sponsor of today's video, Exter. So this is my current wallet. I picked it up at a convenience store for probably just a few bucks, and honestly, it's not been great. All right, first off, this is what my wallet looks like when it's full. Putting this in my pocket, not great. And what happens if it gets turned upside down? Oh, there goes all of my money. I'm actually genuinely surprised the cards didn't fall out. That's happened to me a fair bit and has caused me to lose some very valuable cards. Well, do I have good news for you? Exter has their new Wallet Pro, and look how thin this thing is. It's beautiful blue color. This is it compared to a Game Boy game. It is maybe 2 Game Boy games thick. That is reasonable to put in your pocket. And wait, what's this? My money? Not moving. Pretty good. In terms of credit cards, we know you have them. Well, look at this. The card holder can hold up to 7 cards. And if you press the mechanical switch, look at that. We can just select anyone we want and just easy. Between all the various pockets, you can fit up to 14 cards. And look at this. It closes. It's thin. It's great. And to get these and many other awesome products, well, first off, Exter is having an amazing Black Friday sale with up to 54% off. And with my code, you'll get an additional 10% off. That is 64% off by clicking my link in the description or pinned comment or going to partner.exter.com/JRose11. Alrighty, so the first thing to say before I even get to Brock is that we should battle every trainer in Viridian Forest. There are actually more of them than there are in Red and Blue, but the first battle against Bugcatcher Rick is actually quite perilous because we can get poisoned, and until we knock out the first Weedle, we don't yet have Ember. But we do get it fairly quickly. Although, if you'll see in this second battle, it actually isn't enough to one-shot a Caterpie yet. But for our purposes, one of the biggest changes to the early game is the fact that Brock's second Pokemon, not his Geodude but his Onix, has access to a pretty good move in Rock Tomb. So we're going to get started against his Geodude, obviously, first. I decided to see how much Ember will do. I'm at level 13. It doesn't do that much, but we do have Metal Claw. Now, Metal Claw is super effective, but I think that crit mattered. It does decent damage. Onyx goes for Tackle. I go for Metal Claw. It goes for Tackle again, but as you can see, Brock is just attacking randomly, and when he goes for Rock Tomb, it's enough to one-shot Charmander. Now, Metal Claw does have a rare but possible 10% chance of increasing my attack. Unfortunately, there's also a chance Geodude does a lot more damage to me, and I don't get in my second battle an attack increase, and I get a Rock Tomb immediately. Having Onyx be faster than me is definitely problematic. I think we're actually close. We're going to go battle Camper Liam. He is, other than Rival 1A, the only other trainer left, and he's honestly not that difficult to beat. The first Pokemon is a Geodude, and then it's a Sandshrew. If you guys remember in Red and Blue, it's actually a Diglett. But he gives decent experience points, enough to get me to level 14. We may have to get to level 16 in order to win, because that is when we become Charmeleon, and that would definitely help. Now, obviously, compared to the grass and water Pokemon, a lot of them, this is taking a while. But considering how long this run is, it's not that big a deal. Now, the one thing with the Metal Claw strategy is Geodude can use Defense Curl, and when that happens, Metal Claw does very little, and I have to swap to Ember, which also doesn't do very much, but Geodude can keep spamming it, so I'm at full HP, and I should outspeed the Onyx. I go for Metal Claw, it goes for Rock Tomb, my speed drops, but after that Tackle, ooh, I just burned it. Actually, that could change things. I was going to say, we aren't looking pretty good, but yeah. In the end, the very nice 10% burn and some good luck with not using a second Rock Tomb, we were able to beat Brock on our first attempt at level 14. Not bad at all, and we're very close to becoming Charmeleon, which should help us out in doing a little bit more damage. I actually don't even need to heal after Brock, because for the most part, we're going to be fighting bug catchers, and Ember should be more than enough to one-shot them. Although I did accidentally battle this last, which isn't the end of the world, but if we lose, I have to rebattle Brock, so alright, that's fine. A slight waste of time, but remember, the next gym leader is Misty, so it actually might not be the worst idea to get a quick 2-turn battle versus another trainer, and additionally, by beating her, we're actually going to get Charmeleon, I believe, one battle earlier than we would otherwise. So it might actually be slightly faster. There are no difficult battles in Mount Moon, although, as I suggested, I did do some extra ones, but we can get Mega Kick and or Mega Punch. Now, the thing with Mega Kick, even though it has a 25% chance to miss, it is 120 base power at the very beginning of the game. I cannot overstate. Later on, there are moves that are better, but early on, I cannot overstate how overpowered and cheap the move is. We can definitely sacrifice 25% accuracy for a move that will shred potentially some water-type Pokemon. But obviously, we're first going to go and battle Rival 2. He leads with his Pidgeotto, and I'd love to one-shot this thing. I go for Ember just to see how much it does, but then I can go for Mega Kick and knock it out. Probably should have just done that. Squirtle is next, and this is why I want Mega Kick. Unfortunately, or fortunately, it goes for Withdraw, and actually ended up just being fortunately, because Mega Kick is still able to two-shot it. We then do Metal Claw against Abra and get that attack boost I was hoping for, so I can just go for Mega Punch. One nice thing about Metal Claw, by the way, it has a ton of power points, which will be really useful in this tedious section, where having to backtrack to the Pokemon Center wastes a bunch of time. And so with all our moves and pretty good type diversity to the moves, this section also proceeded really smoothly and, more importantly, really quickly. That said, I don't want to waste time going to battle Misty, because frankly, it just isn't going to be a victory. We're basically at Starmie's level, and we're a fire Pokemon. Another attack boost, that's crazy. But yeah, at this point, we're gonna go and proceed to Vermilion, and once we finish with Vermilion, we should be able to beat Starmie, but I think the extra battles we're going to get on the way and on the SSN will help us. Unfortunately, that does cost us just a little bit of time in backtracking, since we'll be unable to battle Surge right away, but I think it'll be worth it. All right, it's time for Rival 3, and I'm just going to go this time for Mega Kick. It doesn't one-shot. I can switch to Ember. Thankfully, no Sand Attack there. Next comes out Wartortle. We go Mega Kick. Withdraw. I think I can swap to Mega Punch. Oh, it doesn't do enough, but that's okay. Now Ember, I think, is going to do... Yeah, it should do... No, it's not yet. Don't think we're in Blaze range. I'm bad at math, but I don't think that's enough. Either way, we can just Mega Punch the Raticate, and then Kadabra, we can just Mega Punch again. So Mega Punch and Mega Kick have proven to be pretty useful, but this is the last mandatory battle before we battle Misty. We are a few levels higher, so that should help, but I think there's a solid chance she gets a couple victories. All right, so we're just going to go for Mega Kick and hope it hits. That's the best strat. It does one-shot Staryu, that's huge. And now we outspeed Starmie, and it's going to be a two-shot. And yeah, I don't know if this was the exact level we needed, but clearly this was the strat. We're fast enough and strong enough to outspeed and one-shot Staryu, as you saw, and two-shot Starmie. I don't see any other way other than a clutch critical hit, because Misty has non-random AI, and she won't just like Brock attack randomly. So I think this was the play. At this point, there are a few more trainers to fight, but nothing too difficult. The famous Hiker in this game doesn't have self-destruct, and because we're actually a pretty high level, even though they're rock Pokemon, if we're in Blaze range, and this is crazy, you know we one-shot them. Well, we can potentially one-shot them with Ember, at least the Geodude. The Graveler is going to require at least a two-shot, but because it's a trainer Pokemon in the early game, they just attack randomly, and yeah, there's a victory. That brings us to Celadon, and I think it's time we get Charizard. Very rarely do we battle Erika before Lieutenant Surge, but it makes complete sense to do that. We're not just going to battle Erika, however. In so many of these runs, we've encountered issues where we just kind of stall at some point, and this gym gives me a ton of useful money, a ton of useful EVs, which I don't really think about too much, but it's true. They give me either special attack or attack, which is incredible, and we need to beat Erika anyway. It makes sense. And hopefully we then have Charizard by the time we have to fight Giovanni, which should make Giovanni a lot easier. By the time we battle Erika, we're at level 35, and that means we've finally got Flamethrower, which is way better than Ember. Sadly, we weren't Charizard yet, but it really doesn't matter. I don't even know why I said sadly. It made no difference. We outspeed and one-shot all three of her Pokemon. We are going to evolve to Charizard, and that should make the rest of the early game, or what I call the late early game, pretty easy. First things first, because flying is pretty useful, we're going to go and battle Surge, and we just have to do Flamethrower, and then Pikachu, we use Flamethrower, and then Raichu, we use Flamethrower, and yeah, I don't know why you might have expected anything but that to happen, but we are extremely overleveled with our best move. Now, we really don't have a choice, actually. We have to go and battle Giovanni. But because all the leveling up we did in Erika's gym, he isn't really too bad. We actually can just go Flamethrower and one-shot Onix and Rhyhorn. So the type disadvantage right now is essentially meaningless. And then Kangaskhan, I actually have Brick Break. Now, Brick Break actually isn't as useful on Charizard than it would be on a water or even grass Pokemon, because Lorelei's ice Pokemon and having a super effective move against them is really good. But even though fire is neutral, we're probably just going to use Flamethrower way into the future, but that's why I like using Brick Break. Still, it's a good move to have. There's normal Pokemon, but Flamethrower may have actually been better there. All right, well, on the second floor, it's Rival 4, and we're probably just going to spam Flamethrower a bunch. Well, okay, no. For Wartortle, I'm going to go from... let's just use Flamethrower. And yeah, it's a two-shot, but we can just spam it. You also see we have Wing Attack, which is same type. Another reason, by the way, I don't exactly... Ooh, I meant to use Wing Attack there. But one of the reasons I don't exactly love Brick Break is because there's a lot of Pokemon with Intimidate, which makes it way less effective. But thankfully, because the starter is Squirtle for the opponent, there's only one Intimidate Pokemon, unlike for our poor water starters, where the rival has both a Gyarados and a Growlithe/Arcanine. But yeah, the battle was fairly easy, and now we can proceed to the mid-game, where we start to really see how good Charizard's going to be, because Koga tends to be the first major test. Now, we are at level 43, and Flamethrower is still one-shotting, But Muck, we're not going to one-shot. Minimize actually isn't that big a deal. This might be easier than I thought, because one of the biggest problems in Red and Blue is self-destruct, and Wheezing won't do it if it's the last Pokemon. Actually, it almost one-shots the Wheezing. Sadly, Koga is going to heal, so I just go for Wing Attack so we could say we used it. But yeah, looks like Charizard's doing pretty well. I am going to get rid of Mega Kick now for Slash. We're getting to a point where if I have to use a normal move, I may need a critical hit because of Intimidate, or I can just use either Wing Attack or Brick Break. So even though Slash is basically 50%, I mean, it's a little bit more than that, but basically 50% as powerful as Mega Kick, the better accuracy plus the better crit chance is worth it, in my opinion. Getting to Rival 5-0, we're in really good position, I feel. We're going to go Flamethrower on Pidgeot, and it's not enough to one-shot it. Feather Dance sucks, but that's why we have Slash. Blastoise, however, it goes for Protect. I went for Flamethrower, and okay, it does decent. Water Gun also does decent, and then it burns it, which could be huge, because even though I don't knock it out here, oh, well, okay. So that's unfortunate. If I were in Blaze range, I actually would have won. I do wonder if there's something we could do. So I'm thinking of maybe teaching Sunny Day. We might not need Slash at all. With Sunny Day, not only will we weaken Blastoise's water moves, but we will strengthen our fire moves. Sadly, Charizard can't learn Solar Beam until Gen 4, otherwise that would have been an amazing combo. Oh my god, but nope, not in Gen 3. We go for Sunny Day, Wing Attack is perfectly fine, and then Flamethrower. So now, watch how much Flamethrower does to Blastoise. Well, actually it'll do nothing because of Protect, but now watch how much it does to Blastoise. It actually goes for Bite, and then I go for Flamethrower again. Water Gun, alright, Sun Fades, it's actually fine. We have, I think, won the battle. Growlithe is going to lower my attack. I go for Sunny Day. It goes for Takedown, but look how much Flamethrower does. And I'm definitely in Blaze range now, I think. No, we're not. And it's actually easier once we level up, because 51 is clearly not a third of 135. I don't know, I wish I could tell. I wish I was better at that. Anyway, it didn't end up mattering. We just sweep through the rest of the team, and that was a fairly easy battle, although Giovanni 2 isn't going to be free. I actually use a PP up on Flamethrower since we tend to be running out a ton, and I'd like to go to the Pokemon Center or healing spots as little as possible. And to that end, I don't heal versus Giovanni 2, but part of it is I do want to get in Blaze range, so I go for Sunny Day, it goes for Horn Attack. Now, without a shadow of a doubt, we're in Blaze range, so we should one-shot everything with Flamethrower. Blaze plus Sunny Day is basically like everything super effective. I think that's how the math works out. The way damage calcs work, it might not be exactly that. However, I don't need damage calcs or a calculator to tell me that we one-shot all 4 of Giovanni's Pokemon and that the strategy worked. To this point, other than a little bit of a wobble versus Brock right at the beginning, Charizard is doing fantastic. But we've seen this script before, where it seems like the Pokemon's doing amazing, and then it comes to a screeching halt. But we're actually through a significant chunk of the game. Might as well go and battle Sabrina since we're already in Saffron. And I think I'm just going to go Flamethrower. We one-shot Kadabra. And then Mr. Mime. Flamethrower might not. Okay, I'm not surprised it didn't. And she does heal. She went for Barrier, so I just went for Wing Attack. There was no real reason, just using Wing Attack. Venomoth we're super effective against, and it may be a 2-shot versus Alakazam, but maybe not. Well, if we crit, it's definitely not. We're at level 47. I do want to say how much those extra experience points have really, really helped us from Erika's gym. It doesn't seem like it should, but you kind of... Oh, I'm going the wrong way. But you kind of get this sort of positive snowball effect where each battle gets easier and quicker. Wow, I'm really having trouble navigating this gym. I've only done it like a million times before, and yes, it is the exact same pattern as Red and Blue. But after I go to Fuchsia to make sure I don't forget Strength, I do that all the time, and the Rare Candy, which we could definitely use, I am going to head into Cinnabar, where we could have gotten and used Solar Beam. Instead, we'll have to settle for beating Blaine. So Blaine's going to lead with Growlithe, and he has Arcanine, so we're going to want to use Flamethrower. I'm sorry, it's always the best move. I use Sunny Day, it goes takedown, and it's enough to one-shot the not very effective Growlithe. Then Ponyta comes out, and we're still doing enough to one-shot. Then we level up. Now Rapidash probably won't one-shot here. Nah, it's going to be a two-shot, but Fire Blast does like nothing to me. And now we're in a pretty good position for our Canine. Intimidate, Sun fades. I don't bother setting up Sun again. I go Flamethrower, it goes Takedown. I go Flamethrower, it goes Fire Blast. But I'm still standing. Yeah. And now we're in Blaze range, so for sure we're going to knock it out. Even if Blaine healed, I think we would have done about 50%. But it wasn't in healing range. And so we've made it to the very last gym. We have first try victoried pretty much every major battle up to this point. This is looking fantastic. But if there is going to be a hiccup, Giovanni number 3 is a point that could be slightly challenging. However, it's not a rock gym, it's a ground gym. And the 2 rock Pokemon are just Rhyhorn. For some reason, he doesn't get a Rhydon in this game. So I actually think it shouldn't be too bad. Now, he does lead with the rock Pokemon Rhyhorn. I go for Sunny Day. It goes for Scary Face. That actually could be a problem. I do one-shot the Rhyhorn, but I definitely will no longer outspeed the Doug Trio. Oh, it's another Rhyhorn. Oh yeah, they can put the Pokemon in any order. Well, I knock out that Rhyhorn, but I won't outspeed the Doug Trio. There it is. It goes for Slash. That's not a problem. I knock it out. And the scariest Pokemon are probably Nidoqueen and Nidoking. Nidoqueen is able to paralyze me, but I can one-shot it in retaliation. And then Nidoking, it goes for Thrash. I go for Flamethrower. Unfortunately, we weren't in Blaze range. I get paralyzed. And then after Thrash ends, Giovanni is able to heal. Turns out it wasn't a range. We're in Blaze range now, so we're going to be able to knock out the Nidoking. Sometimes I forget. I'm like, oh, it was a range. But no, it wasn't. I only have 40 HP. But hey, it is what it is. First try victory. That one was a little bit more questionable, but we have done extremely well up to this point. Rival 6 will be the next major test, but right now we're on track to have a top time in FireRed and LeafGreen. Let's see if we can manage it. First up, of course, Rival 6. We go for Sunny Day. It goes for Wing Attack. That's fine. We go for Flamethrower. Bye-bye Pidgeot. Level 51. Now Blastoise comes out. I'm going to go for Flamethrower in the sun. It goes for Rain Dance. That's okay. I can go for Sunny Day. It goes for Water Gun. Does nothing. I accidentally go for Sunny Day a second time, which means I have to go for it now 3 times in a row. He goes for Water Gun. This time I go for Flamethrower, and he goes for Rain Dance. I may have to reset because I've run out, but I'm in Blaze range, so I won't have to. I knock out the Blastoise here with the extra 50% damage, and I should be fine to knock out the Rhyhorn next, and then Growlithe, Intimidate. Sun is still strong, easily going to one-shot that. Now all we have to worry about is Execute, which we're super effective against, and Alakazam doesn't have amazing special defense. Sun fades, doesn't matter. Another first try victory. This is just a fantastic run to this point. Charizard is often many people's favorite starter Pokemon, and you can see just how great it is. Fire is not even that great of a type in terms of its matchup, and yet Charizard is just so good, it doesn't care. With that said, Lorelei is, yes, the Ice-type Elite Four member, but effectively the Water-type one. And Lance has both an Aerodactyl and a Gyarados, which will resist my amazing Fire-type attacks, and Intimidate will lower my physical attack. So there may be problems ahead. Can Charizard overcome them, and overcome them quickly? Let's see. Alrighty, Lorelei leads with Dugong. We lead with Charizard. I just go for Flamethrower, but remember, Dugong has a pretty useful ability, Thick Fat. And that means my Fire-type attacks are useless. I should have known that, and I actually reset. So we're not going to be able to just spam Flamethrower. You can also see I have all these rare candies, and I will use them, but it just takes a while. So we're going to skip ahead. That loss was definitely my fault, but it is still a loss. Now Brick Break is going to come in handy. It does over half. Surf does quite a lot, but that's okay. Now, Cloyster has very bad special defense, so I'm going to go for Flamethrower, and it actually just one-shots. Lapras comes out next. I decide to go for Flamethrower. It goes for Confuse Ray, and then Citrus Berry. I hit myself in Confusion, it goes for Surf. Yeah. I mean, a little bit of bad luck there, but that might be a bit of a problem. All right, take 3 at Lorelei. Didn't think this would be that easy. We'll go Brick Break. Hopefully we don't get Surf, but of course we're going to. And another Brick Break. That's 1. Next, we have Cloyster. Should one-shot. Very good. Now we have Lapras. I'm gonna go for... You know what? Let's go for Sunny Day. Goes for Confuse Ray. Lumberry cures it. Didn't have that last time. I then go for Flamethrower. It doesn't quite one-shot it, but the Citrus Berry should take it out of healing range, so I can knock it out on my very next turn. Slowbro, unfortunately, is not an Ice-type Pokemon, and I'm not in Blaze range, but even if I was, I wouldn't knock it out. I do half, but then Slowbro goes for Amnesia, which is brutal. Then I have to go for Flamethrower, and then I'm going to knock it right within healing range. I need a crit in order to win, which I don't get. And yeah, that's not going to work. That is just not going to work. I then spent the next 7 minutes battling Lorelei a little bit, but also talking to chat and sort of talking out loud and thinking about different strategies. In the end, this is what I came up with. So against Dugong, we're going to go Flamethrower and then Brick Break. Just works out. Now, if I knew Cloyster would always go for Protect, I'd go for Sunny Day, but it isn't consistent, so I just double Flamethrower and knock it out. Having the Sun out would be great, but I do send the Sun out versus Lapras. Personberry cures the paralysis, and I've deleted Wing Attack. I know, I was so proud of it, but it was useless for Fire Blast, which doesn't knock out Lapras. It does burn it, which would knock it out if not for the Citrus Berry. That will allow Lapras to heal. I'm curious if this is a range, so I go for another Fire Blast. Don't think it is. It's close to being a range. Now I'll use Brick Break to knock it out. Slowbro, I can just go for Flamethrower, but I decided to go for Fire Blast just to see how much it does. The sun fades, and I should have seen that that was healing range, and I went for Flamethrower. That was just really bad. I go for Sunny Day, it goes for Surf, but now I am in Blaze range, and with Fire Blast, it's enough to knock out Slowbro, and Jinx I outspeed and easily one-shot. That was a bit of a messy battle, but Fire Blast, not a move I use very often, and doubling up on fire moves definitely isn't always the most optimal strategy outside of something like Legend ZA. That game was weird. I want to talk about it at one point, but not today. Today we move on to Bruno, who actually would be a lot easier if we had Wing Attack, but we don't. And I don't think this is going to be free. I'm going to go Flamethrower versus Onix, and it doesn't knock it out. Rock Tomb is quadruple effective, and Bruno heals. So that's a problem. I can knock out the Onix, but then Hitmonchan. I go for Fire Blast, it misses. Rock Tomb misses, but then Fire Blast doesn't do enough to knock it out. I'm hit with Rock Tomb, and at -2 speed, that's not enough to outspeed Hitmonchan. And as I feared, this is not Red and Bluno. FireRed LeafGreen Bruno may actually be a bit of a problem here. This is a big reason why saving between Elite Four members is actually such a bad idea, even if you don't have that rule in place like I do. Because if you commit to Fire Blast, well, now you're committed to it. Because I didn't save after teaching it, I can go back to Wing Attack, which would be better, but would it make Lorelei too difficult? This is the 4-move problem. Fortunately for me, there's an easy other solution. Aerial Ace. I can just delete Brick Break. I don't need it anymore. I go for Fire Blast, which does one-shot the Onix with or without the crit, and Aerial Ace does enough to one-shot Hitmonchan. The special defense is actually much better than the defense for these Hitmon Pokemon. Machamp comes out, I go for Aerial Ace, and that crit mattered. So if we win here, it doesn't mean all that much, but it's nice. We're going to one-shot Hitmonlee, and then Onix number 2, Fire Blast should one-shot. Of course I miss. It goes for Double Edge, and then I hit. I say of course, but I've had really good luck with Fire Blast up to this point, and we've made it to Agatha. Agatha is really annoying in Red and Blue, but thankfully this isn't Red and Blue. She should be only moderately annoying, and because we have Aerial Ace, we don't have to worry about the double team Gengar, which is our first Pokemon. So in theory, I could set up Sunny Day if I want to, and let's just go for Fire Blast, see how much it does. Oh, one-shots. Okay, well, that's good information. Now I'm going to go for Sunny Day. It goes for Air Cutter, the Golbat does, and then I go for Flamethrower. Great. I can probably just knock out all her Pokemon with Flamethrower at this point, and that's what I'm going to try to do. Flamethrower the Arbok, we knock it out. Flamethrower the second Gengar, we knock it out, and that means we're going to knock out Haunter. Unfortunately, this was actually the trainer I was most nervous about, Lance, because we're going to start with a Gyarados, and it doesn't actually get all that much easier. If you have to ask me who gets the biggest buff between Red and Blue and FireRed LeafGreen, it's Bruno, by like a metric ton. But if you have to ask who's actually the most challenging one and who gets a huge buff, it's Lance. I mean, Bruno's completely useless, but Lance is legitimately tough. Gyarados immediately intimidates me. I decide to go for Sunny Day. It goes for Dragon Rage. Okay. I see how much Flamethrower does. It does about half. It goes for Dragon Rage, but I don't want to risk it, so I go for Flamethrower instead of Fire Blast. Mistake. Lance is going to heal. I'm not quite in Blaze range, but I get a nice crit there, and so I'm going to be able to knock out Gyarados with 73 HP remaining. Aerodactyl comes out. The sun is faded, and because of that, Fire Blast doesn't knock it out, and Ancient Power is going to do more than enough to knock me out. Now, in theory, if the sun was up and I was in Blaze range and we hit, perhaps we could have knocked out Aerodactyl, but we're going to need to one-shot it because it is 100% going to one-shot us. It's only 60 base power, but Aerodactyl is quite strong, and rocks really are our kryptonite. Which is funny because my understanding is kryptonite is a rock. So, cool. Now, if you've been watching this series to this point, I know what some of you are thinking. Substitute. Well, we might be able to use Substitute, but that means we probably won't be able to teach Fire Blast. And it's not just use Substitute. I need to know when to use Substitute. We don't have Giga Drain like we did in the grass battles. Also, I equipped Oranberry by accident, which is kind of funny. And we also, of course, don't have the leftovers. We also don't have a move other than Sunny Day to boost anything. So while I'm not ruling out Substitute, as you can see, it's not just a simple matter of use Substitute and win, the way many seem to think it is in FireRed LeafGreen. There is a bit of 4-move syndrome going on here, which is to say that Charizard has so many moves that could work, but because you can only use 4 of them at any given time, it can be quite limiting. That said, I don't want to give up on Substitute yet because we know it's such a crazy good strategy. So what I do here, actually we get a little lucky versus Dugong, and we get Hail instead of Surf. So we have more HP than we would otherwise. That means we can set up Substitute on Cloyster, which was either going to go for Dive or is going to go for Protect. In fact, I keep expecting Dive, so I set up Sunny Day as well. Cloyster just doesn't seem to like to attack, and this is kind of important. One nice thing about Substitute, by the way, is... Oh, actually, first of all, Ice Beam didn't knock out my sub, which is crazy. But I was going to say, it makes it easier to get within Blaze range. And that actually is super helpful. Unfortunately, this Slowbro is doing everything in its power to be annoying by going for Amnesia. But by going for Substitute, I have put myself into Blaze range, and that's the thing, right? And once I'm in Blaze range versus Slowbro, as long as the sun is up, we win. We're going to one-shot Jinx, and that's exactly what happened. That time, the Oranberry was actually intentional, just in case I miscalculated and needed a little bit of wiggle room. In the end, it actually almost was a bad thing, but it worked there. Now, against Bruno, we have a problem. Fire Blast was the way we got by Onix, so I'm trying to use Substitute until Rock Tomb misses, which in theory is a good strat, but in practice, it's just going to hit every time. So I go for Flamethrower, and of course, Rock Tomb hits 2 out of 2 times. When Bruno heals, I can set up another Substitute. So I'm in Blaze range, which means I knock out the Onix, and then against Hitmonchan, I kind of think about it a second, but I should just go for Aerial Ace. I already know it's going to one-shot. Still, I wanted to see if Flamethrower would, and it does, so... Knowledge, I guess. Machamp, I wanted to see because I knew I got lucky with a crit, And it's a good thing I did swap the Flamethrower there. But yeah, you can see how Substitute does combine well with these starter abilities. It's not going to be the same with the evolutions, to be honest with you, or other Pokemon, but it is a very nice combo here. And Agatha's actually another trainer where we can take full advantage of how Substitute is going to both manipulate our HP and hide from extremely, extremely annoying moves. But before I do anything, I think I can get rid of Aerial Ace for Dragon Claw. I know it seems weird to do that here, but I am pretty much just a special attacker at this point. I also messed up. I should have one more elixir, but that's not a big problem. I have to equip, just in case, I should equip the Lumberry, just in case I do something wrong. But against Lance and the champion, I should have Citrus Berries. Anyway, Agatha leads with Gengar. It is trolly as all heck, so I go for Substitute, and it goes for Double Team. Then I go for Sunny Day, it goes for Shadow Punch, and now I just go for Flamethrower. It hits, and I should sweep at this point. I'm behind a Substitute, so in case anything goes wrong, we're fine. But nothing does go wrong. We one-shot each and every one of her Pokemon. And so now we know the Substitute strategy gets me to Lance. The question is, does it really help versus Lance? I mean, the other strategy didn't look like it was going to work, and if we can maintain a Substitute to Aerodactyl, that could be really, really good. But that's a big if, considering the Pokemon we have to beat is the other Pokemon that is the worst for us. See how it goes. So, I'm at 193. I'm going to go for Substitute right off the bat, and it goes for Dragon Rage. Very good. Now, something that you should know that I actually didn't know when I started this is that one of the changes is that Gyarados doesn't actually have a water move. So that's why it's going for Bite and Dragon Rage. I thought it was because I was going for Sunny Day. It doesn't have Hydro Pump. So because it goes for Dragon Rage, I can sometimes maintain the Substitute, which is super, super, super helpful. And now in Blaze range, I know I'm going to knock it out. So I've gotten everything I want. Sun Up, Blaze range, no, not Sun Up. So while I won't one-shot Aerodactyl, which actually, in looking at how much I did, we wouldn't have anyway, I will be able to two-shot Aerodactyl, which is pretty much just as good. But we're not out of the clear yet. Dragonair, this is what Dragon Claw's for, and it does one-shot. Excellent. And we one-shot here. But now we're at 49 HP for Dragonite, and I don't know how well this is going to go. So I just go for Substitute here. It goes for Wing Attack. I was kind of hoping for Hyper Beam, but yeah, I go for Dragon Claw, and not really sure what the strat was there. We've made it pretty far. Substitute has helped us, but we're still missing something important. I'm making it sound like I know what that is, but I actually don't. In the end, I decide just to run it back because I wasn't really sure what to do, and I screwed up. I forgot to teach Dragon Claw, which I need regardless. So that was a waste. As I battle Lance a fourth time, you should know my win rate versus Lorelei is about 50%, but it is 100% thus far against Bruno and Agatha. So that's not so bad considering Lorelei is the first trainer, but we're going to need Gyarados to cooperate, and I just don't see this working, right? Like, we know Substitute can tank 2 attacks, and I could try to manipulate its health to try and get the sun out, but I don't really know what that's gonna do. Like, I'm now definitely in Blaze, and, well, the sun's not out, right? So it doesn't actually matter. I just can't seem to get both. Again, it doesn't actually really matter unless it gets the Omniboost or something, but it doesn't. And yeah, I mean, it's basically get a crit. Wait, what if I go Substitute here? What's it gonna do? Oh, that could be the game. Oh, that was smart. Good thinking, me. That was really good. Nice. So now Dragonite has to go. Oh, and Outrage is perfect. No, wait. No, wait. Oh, that wasn't perfect. No, curse you, me. Oh, well. So I think we need to be a slightly higher level. This all works. We just need to be able to two-shot Dragonite with Citrus Berry. So we're really close. There are rare candies in Pokemon games I don't always get because they're out of the way, including one in FireRed LeafGreen, so I could go get that. I do that. It's here on Route 12, by the way, in this patch of grass. And then after a few more losses to Lorelei, we make it back to Lance. Still consistent versus the other two. So now I'm at level 66. I have all the moves I want. Dragon Rage is perfect. And we're going to do Flamethrower. Ooh, that was a crit, which is fine. I don't want to set up Sunny Day right away because... Actually, I don't think it matters. I'm just going to go Flamethrower. Oh, that's the worst case scenario. No, I messed this up pretty bad. Oh, yeah, this is... Okay, I have Citrus Berry to kind of help, but this is not what I want. I am in Blaze range, so I'm going to be able... Wait a minute, but can I... No, I think I just messed... Oh, yeah, I messed things up. So now unless I one-shot Aerodactyl, we lose, because we can't set up another substitute when the Dragonair comes out. And, I mean, that burn was... No, it was almost really cool, but not enough. So, yeah, that didn't work, because now Dragonite's just gonna, yeah, knock me out. All right, well, my bad. All right, guys, take 6. Hopefully things will be different. I'm still using the same strategy with minor alterations. So we go Substitute here. Dragon Rage is fine. Dragon Claw does more. Dragon Rage, fine. Substitute, I'm at 100. Bite, Citrus Berry, Dragon Claw. Ooh, it did a little too much. It's going to heal. That's not what we want to see. So one thing that is happening now is I'm unable to consistently get it not in healing range. And yeah, we have the exact same problem as last time. Yeah, and actually it's worse because I tried to get cute and not go behind a substitute. And now I just don't have enough for a substitute whatsoever. This is frustrating. That's the one thing when you change levels, is now we're doing slightly more damage to Gyarados, and now Gyarados can heal, which is bad. It's pretty bad. Finally, in Battle 7, I did everything that should have been required for a victory. I also, you'll notice, have used an HP up, so I have 201 health instead of 200. This can be important for substitute, so I get one more. But either way, I have to do the whole dance with Gyarados, but this time I get a really lucky critical hit, so everything works out. Then Aerodactyl, things work not quite as I wanted them to. I got a crit with Dragon Claw, and then it healed, so I had to go behind a substitute. So I'm at 51 HP, plus Citrus. So... I got another crit. I'm trying to figure out a better way of doing this. But at 81, in theory, we could go behind a substitute for Dragonair, but maybe we don't want to. Because what if it went for like Hyper Beam and something and knocked it out? 81, I think, is enough HP to tank any one of Dragonite's attacks. Unless I'm wrong. Am I? Yes. That was... a bit of an unforced error, I will say. Finally, in Battle 10, I figured out the right combination of moves, health, level, everything. It all worked. You go Dragon Claw versus Gyarados, and then you go behind substitute. Always be behind a substitute. Then, after Dragon Claw, you go for Sunny Day, take the Dragon Rage, go back behind the substitute, and then Flamethrower. Oh, wait, the Citrus. Okay, whatever. It's fine. It doesn't actually matter. I should unequip the Citrus, but it would have worked, I promise you. Anyway, we know what's going to happen versus Aerodactyl, and this time, look at me being smart. Substitute behind Dragonair. We're fine. Everything is good, right? Well, about that, turns out that one additional level wasn't enough. Yep. And you want to guess what? I was at level 67 by battling an extra trainer and making sure I got a little bit more. I didn't equip the Citrus Berry. Still not enough. In fact, it did less damage than the time before. Now that's because of damage ranges. Obviously, it's a better range because I'm a higher level. But yeah, even level 67 isn't consistent. Unfortunately, the only solution I could find was the most obvious and the one I was resisting. Level up more, man. I didn't want to do it. I thought there might be a way. I really thought it was my fault for just always doing the wrong thing. But at some point, even though there are runs where I make mistakes, runs where I'm inefficient, runs where I could do things better, it turns out that sometimes certain Pokemon just aren't really equipped to beat certain trainers consistently. And at level 68, everything worked out perfectly. In fact, against Dragonite, you actually don't even need to be behind the substitute anymore, which is something I was trying to do earlier. This not only made all the other Pokemon more consistent, but finally I did enough damage to knock out the Dragonite, and I'm at level 69. We have battled Lance, oh god, I don't know how many times we've battled Lance at this point. I think it's like 13. And this is just our first time versus the champion. I don't even really know what we should be doing here. I mean, I don't really think we need Dragon Claw. I can equip Citrus Berry, because why the heck not? And I don't know, at this point, I'm ready just to see a different battle. Let's just see how things go. All right, so Pidgeot versus Charizard. Just go for Substitute in case of Sand Attack. Aerial Ace isn't enough to knock it out, so I go for Sunny Day. There's Sand Attack, and we're going to use Flamethrower. Okay, next is going to be Blastoise. We're going to go for Flamethrower here, and it does... Oh my goodness! Well, Blastoise is going to heal here, and that did way more than I thought. Don't forget, definitely not in Blaze range. Don't need a calculator for that. We're doing about half. My sub is about to get knocked out by a Hydro Pump, which is fine. I think I'm just going to knock out the Blastoise. Oh, wait, I don't do that. But I can do that here. I actually go for Sunny Day, which was silly because I thought the Blastoise could heal, but no, I'm thinking of Emerald. Anyway, I'm at 68 HP, meaning I'm in Blaze range, and I just have to go for it. And wouldn't you know, Flamethrower does just enough to knock out Rhydon, and that's GG. Kind of lucky. I needed to go behind Substitute. I forgot only one full restore there. But yeah, that Executor can't do anything. And actually, wait a minute. Arcanine might. Uh-oh. Extreme Speed. Oh, we just lost. Oh, we won! I can't believe it! I didn't even think of Extreme Speed on 3 HP. So for any of you who tell me I leveled up too much, the 3 HP has some words for you. I can't believe that was how we won. That's nuts. Poor Charizard did so well the whole run, but Lance just hard-walled it. So level 70, 435. That puts it pretty much right alongside Venusaur. So we are going to finally start to see a break in these globs of starters. Charizard now, and again, I'm just ranking by in-game time, but it's not the best metric because obviously a minute here and there, because of user error, aka me, we should keep that in mind. It's why I have such a hard time ranking the water starters. But Venusaur and Charizard are, let's say, tied for 4th. And although at one point it did seriously look like Charizard was going to give the water starters a run for its money, in the end, Lance had something to say about that. Alrighty, let's move on to part 2, Typhlosion or Cyndaquil. Did you know that Typhlosion and Charizard literally have the exact same stats? Like, I'm not talking like the evolutions where everything's just mixed around. Like, literally, they're identical. This is Typhlosion, this is Charizard. Other than the fact I cropped the pictures differently. Oh yeah, and for Charizard, there's that extra blurb about what its special is in Gen 1. That is literally the only difference between them. So easy, you don't even have to make a video here. It's going to do the same, right? Well, it's not flying type, which is going to help versus rock Pokemon. But also no, Typhlosion kind of sucks relative to Charizard. Why, J-Rose? I love Typhlosion. I mean, awesome. And in Gen 2, where it gets access to Thunder Punch, it's awesome. But Typhlosion, I hate to say, from a moveset perspective, gets nothing. Or should I say, nothing useful / accessible that Charizard didn't get. Like, for example, if this was Pokemon Emerald and Move Tutors were available in the non-post game, it would get Thunder Punch and Charizard wouldn't, and that would be a huge advantage. Like, in Crystal version, it would be kind of interesting. I don't want to do this in Crystal versions. But it would be interesting, because Thunder Punch would be huge. But we don't get that, because it's not available in FireRed LeafGreen. So we're essentially dealing from a smaller deck, and thinking to the part of the games we were just talking about, some of the moves that Charizard used to be really effective aren't here anymore. So if you're thinking, wow, that sounds like Cyndaquil is going to suck. Yes, it will. My question is it going to be Meganium tier or Sceptile tier? I hope to be very wrong about this. I don't think I will be. I was not looking forward to using this thing. Let's hope I'm wrong. Very wrong. There is one advantage Cyndaquil will have over Charmander. If you recall when I beat Brock, I was almost a Charmeleon. But Cyndaquil, even though it learns Ember a little later, so it takes longer for it to get to this point, once you beat the Camper, you have Quilava for Brock, and that's not nothing. Of course, I'd be remiss not to mention we also don't have Metal Claw, so it's also not something. Still, Ember actually does a fairly decent job here. The big thing is we don't want to get hit by Rock Tomb, which of course is exactly what happens, and yeah, we just lose. So that's fantastic. Based on our experiences with Charmander, I'm just going to kind of brute force this one a little bit. I mean, okay, you know, one thing I could do versus Brock is I could potentially use Smokescreen. Could lower the accuracy of the Rock Tombs, but truth be told, just get a burn and you'll win. You know what? There's no real strategy here. We have so few tools. And the fact we get Quilava early honestly didn't make that big a difference. So we are already behind Charmander, and we're just going to continue to bleed time, I think. So that's great. But hey, I know I sound negative, but I promise I play these runs to get the best time possible. I like nothing more than to prove myself wrong, because then it makes for a more interesting video. But if you wanted me to get a little bit more positive, fun fact here. So remember how I showed that move list and it was Typhlosions and they could learn Mega Kick? Well, turns out Quilava isn't Typhlosion. And I always just assume the TM lists are basically identical, and they basically are, but that's a pretty big omission. So we don't have Mega Kick. That was a really, really good move for us early in the game. And you may have noticed that I have quite an assortment of party members, more than I usually do. For those of you who watched the grass video, I mean, I told you to watch everything first. That was partly selfish, but partly because I don't like repeating myself too often. And they're good videos, but you know what's about to come. But for those of you who chose not to, welcome. I still like you. You're still a viewer. But now you get to live in suspense for like a little bit. Anyway, I'm battling Rival 2, and because I don't have Mega Kick, it's kind of going terribly. Also, it felt like Flame Wheel was a move that Cyndaquil learns pretty early, but it actually isn't. And I don't actually know if I'm going to win here. Mega Kick kind of really super ultra helped. And yeah, this sucks. Like seriously, Mega Kick was huge here. I'm stuck with Ember. And oh, there's Sand Attack, of course. But you know what? Maybe we'll get some luck. We'll knock out Pidgeotto. And hey, maybe we'll get a burn or something. I mean, we're missing a little bit now, but a burn would be really nice. Hey, there's that burn we wanted. Really good. And we knock out Squirtle almost. Oh, well, okay. But still, hey, all we need is no Quick Attack from Rattata and we win. But there's Quick Attack from Rattata. Okay. Well, that's fun. All right, there are trainers in this gym, and although they have water Pokemon, they also have experience points, and I kind of need those, I guess. So let's go for Tackle and Ember against a bunch of water Pokemon. And I guess I'll also battle the Goldeen. This is looking amazing. So I actually kind of had to brute force Rival 2 as well, which I don't like doing. Now, when I say brute force, once it takes like more than 5 battles, I decide to just move on. But yeah, like, I didn't really do anything different. Because the AI here is random, I just kind of hoped the AI would cooperate, and boy, did it ever in this battle. Like, holy moly, did it cooperate. But yeah, so far, Quilava is not having as easy a time, but I'm sure things will look up somehow. I'm not sure why they will, but I'm sure they will. Well, one thing I didn't try with Charmeleon, because I didn't think there was a purpose to it, was battling Misty here. I am going to do that now, but I don't think it'll go well. I have Secret Power, which I got from battling an extra trainer, but this is precisely why I didn't battle Misty. There's no reason to. I was right the last time. I mean, I knew that, and that's why I saved outside the Pokemon Center. I wanted to see if I could maybe get a first try lucky victory or like paralysis, which I actually did get. And yeah, having to resort to Secret Power sucks. But hey, at least it can paralyze and it's 100% accurate. But yeah, Mega Kick was way better. I miss it. All right, well, that means we get to go battle Rival 3. Still no Flame Wheel and still getting bad luck with Sand Attack. Now against Wartortle, I do use Secret Power, and actually, it's not that bad. I mean, 3-shot, oh, well, 4-shot if I get really unlucky. And now I think I need a lot of luck. I'm going to go Ember. Hey, okay, that worked, and I think Secret Power should knock this out. Yeah, let's go Ember. Yeah, that worked. That worked. Okay, that actually was, hey, first try victory. Look at that. Things are looking up. I didn't lie to you guys. / I wasn't sure how this was going to go. All right, well, I'm pretty sure this is going to go badly. I'm back at Misty. We need to one-shot, and we do. Okay, that's nice, but I don't think we're going to two-shot here. No, we do get the paralysis, and ooh, we could take this. Hey, we do on 1 HP, but there's a super potion, so unless we get a, yeah, nope, that's not going to work. Okay, well, that's amazing. How do I do this? I don't think this is possible without, like, a crit or just getting Parahacks, which we're not even guaranteed to paralyze, and, oh yeah, Starmie can just two-shot me. Okay. This is going actually exactly how I thought this was going to go. I don't really think I should have come back. I think I should have battled some more trainers, which is bad, but okay, that was a good range. Maybe if, see, okay, wait. If I stop it from healing, perhaps I can get this. Yes, no, it knocked me out, but I think that's the right idea. Wait, I think this is the right idea. If I can prevent it from healing, I actually think we can do this. Thankfully, Staryu is consistent, so I think we go try for the Parahacks. Don't get it. Okay, that's too much, but Ember, and then, all right, you see, now we're running into the issue where it seems like it's unfavorable for it to be a 3-shot. So, yeah, that's, Okay, well, I'll try a few more times. This is the right strategy, though. This is the right strategy. Secret Power, Water Pulse. That did too much, but... Oh, there's the Parahacks. Yeah. I mean, I could... What do I do? Do I just keep doing this? That mean I have to brute force another trainer? I mean, this will work. I see the strategy. And it isn't like... I mean, I don't know. Let's try one more time. Okay, it's paralyzed. Water Pulse. It's too much. It's too much. Darn. There are some trainers I don't battle on routes 24 and 25. Battled a few of them. Now I'm at level 30 and it just works. I mean, we knew it would. I just had to level up a little bit more. But, oh, actually I get confused? That's pretty funny. But yeah, Starmie goes for Recover here, which actually leads to a bit of a game of cat and mouse. Alright, there's the Parahacks. Whatever. Whatever. This sucked. I'm wasting a ton of time. Quilava is not looking very good, guys. This is not looking good at all. There is something I can do to stop it from being Meganium level bad, but I don't even know if Sceptile's achievable. This is getting pretty ugly. Thankfully, by the time we get to Rock Tunnel, we have Flame Wheel, and thus none of the trainers, even the Hiker, are difficult. And thus, we're going to finally get a very important checkpoint, making it to the Celadon Gym. And by making it to the Celadon Gym, just like with Charmeleon, we're going to be able to level up and eventually evolve our Quilava into a Typhlosion. However, something I may have neglected to mention up to this point is we don't get Flamethrower till level 60. That is another reason I don't have a lot of faith in this thing. Flame Wheel is an improvement, but using a base 95 power, I mean, against Erika it doesn't matter, right? But using a base 95 power move is probably going to be way better for, I don't know, the vast majority of the game prior to the Elite Four versus a base 60 power move. So yeah, I feel like I'm justified in my frustration. And I'm frustrated not because I hate Typhlosion, because I love Typhlosion. That was my starter. From Gold, when I first got the game, I was a Squirtle Cyndaquil guy. And Cyndaquil sucks. I mean, I wanted to love it. I always used it. And to be fair, none of the starters in Gen 2 are particularly great. But boy, it just feels like they did everything they could to make it just worse than Charizard. I mean, it's still good enough to beat Surge, but I'm at level 38. I should be able to beat Surge, and you can maybe see my moveset has changed slightly. It can learn Brick Break, so that's kind of nice. And Flame Wheel is good enough for now. Where you start to see where it'd be nice to have Flamethrower, one of the many places, is against Giovanni 1. Now, I actually go for Brick Break instead, because Brick Break is super effective, and my attack isn't that bad. It's not enough to one-shot, but it does more than Flame Wheel would, I think. And then I can use it versus Kangaskhan. In the end, it only made the battle take slightly longer, but I mean, no, it's nice. I get to use other moves. Let's turn this into a positive. Now we get to go battle Rival 4. Exact same team as the last run. Flame Wheel's enough to knock out Pidgeotto, although this is always the easiest battle. And I'm going to go for Brick Break here. Remember, I used Flamethrower, but that's okay. We get to use Brick Break. And then Growlithe, I actually think we should switch, but I use Brick Break. Doesn't really matter. And hey, we have Quick Attack. Not that it matters because we're so fast. And then we can just Flame Wheel both Execute and Kadabra. Overall, I will say this. Up to this point, Typhlosion hasn't yet been... Actually, it has been quite a lot worse. But where Charizard really impressed me was it just obliterated the game from Koga onward, and I'm not super sure Typhlosion is going to do that. You may also notice I just caught a Ghastly. I am going to try my best to help Typhlosion out, but yeah, this is a bit of a Hail Mary. And once I get to the Safari Zone, it's time I tell you what the plan is. So, unfortunately, Typhlosion doesn't have as many options as Charizard. We've talked about this too much. I've kept repeating it. But there is one thing I didn't do for Charizard because it would waste too much time that may be worth it for Typhlosion. And that is getting leftovers. Sadly, leftovers aren't easy to acquire in FireRed LeafGreen. You need the item finder, which means you need 30 Pokemon caught. Now, the Safari Zone is kind of a good place to do that because you just walk around and you can catch Pokemon such as, almost, Execute and Nidorino and Nidorina, which evolve via Stone. So it's kind of like catching two Pokemon in one. You can see that's why I try to avoid catching too much before I get here, so I can try to maximize... Ooh, Kangaskhan. That's very unlikely to catch. But I can try to maximize as much of the Safari Zone as possible. Unfortunately, it does open the run up to a little bit of randomness, but I think leftovers, especially paired with Substitute, will be a massive, massive help for Typhlosion. I just can't catch anything right now, but eventually it'll work. I don't think I'm going to need it for Koga, so we're just going to battle him. I'm at level 43. Flame Wheel is enough to knock out Coughing, and I think we actually should be fine here. Although, wait, it only did a third, then Sludge, Minimize. Okay, I mean, it's not that bad. We should one-shot, and then at worst, what should happen here is a two-shot, and it should put me... Oh, well, actually, Smokescreen's pretty bad. Oh, this could be really bad. All right, we're fine. I said it was going to put me within Blaze range, which is what happened, but didn't even need it. Fine. First try victory. I mean, we're at a bit of a higher level, but that's good. Rival Fivel was more the concern, but still, glad Koga wasn't a problem. All right, let's see how Rival Fivel's going to go. So, I'm at level 44. Flame Wheel does about half. That's fine, but I don't have Sunny Day yet. I probably should have done that. That worked really well. And without it, like, I can go for Secret Power. Ooh, that actually did quite a bit. But I don't think it's going to be enough, right? Well, Double Protect fail. Hold up. Okay, wait, it burned it. Oh, well, I put it in Torrent range. Right, that works for them too. The problem with Sunny Day is I like all my moves. Okay, I'm gonna level up just a little bit more, as well as heal. For whatever reason, I tried without Sunny Day for like 5 minutes. I still can't understand why, so I'm not gonna show you those battles, because why did I even do that? But anyway, setting up Sunny Day is the play here. Unfortunately, we're still using Flame Wheel, so we can't one-shot Pidgeot, and we're only at 91 HP. Secret Power is also better and can paralyze, but Sunny Day still does weaken the water gun, so it's worth it. But yeah, goodness, it's more a defensive asset than an offensive one. Thankfully, the Secret Power Paralysis proves clutch as heck, and I'm actually think Secret Power is probably the better move. Doesn't matter, Blastoise protected. Now oh no, I meant to go for Secret Power. No, because it faded. All right, whatever. Thankfully, Rival Fivel doesn't heal, so we're fine. But yeah, now we get intimidated, which is more of a problem. All right, okay, nice crit. That was actually the wrong play. We should be fine at this point. We're gonna Flame Wheel, but yeah, Rival Fivel was a joke. And now, oh, why did I go? Wait, why did I do that? Why did I go for Secret Power? Okay, thankfully. So, by the way, I just looked at the archived stream. I archive all my streams because, I don't know, why not? Turns out I was in a pretty intense discussion with my chat, and I got very distracted because I'm not the best multitasker. So, my apologies. Thankfully, from what I remember, that discussion ends pretty soon. So, yeah, it almost cost me a win versus Rival Fivel, but I still managed to win nonetheless. And that was why I tried without Sunny Day. It makes more sense, I was just wasting time. Hey, fun fact, want to see another reason that Flame Wheel sucks? One you probably never even imagined would come up in a run, but is gonna come up here. Well, it one-shots Nidorino, but even though Flame Wheel is still a special move in Gen 3, it still deals contact damage, and thus, Poison Point affects it. And since I am poisoned, I actually lose to Giovanni. Isn't that fantastic? Just wonderful, amazing, 10 out of 10. And even if I'm not poisoned, this battle is far from trivial, by the way, which is really annoying because it should be, it's Giovanni, but it's not. I mean, the fact of the matter is, I'm just not really a good Pokemon for this battle, and especially against Nidoqueen. Like, Flamethrower was just so good, and I have to constantly worry about being poisoned, and this Nidoqueen should have knocked me out, and did poison me, except thankfully it did so by going for Poison Sting, which is a terrible move. So the only battle thus far that has proved to be kinda easy is, well, Surge and Koga. Weird combination, but yeah, it's not looking great. Not looking great, but we don't have lefties yet. I'm not going to need them for Sabrina, I don't think. In fact, Sabrina actually should be relatively easy. I go for Secret Power, which one-shots Kadabra, and it actually should one-shot Mr. Mime. Oh, it doesn't. Okay, well, what do I know? 2 shots Mr. Mime. Flame Wheel will one-shot the Venomoth, and then I guess Flame Wheel, it doesn't matter. Problem with Secret Power is if I paralyze, then I could get synchronized, but crit will work. First try. That's nice. Now it's time to maybe do some shopping, buy some stones, and get 30 Pokemon for leftovers. I think Blaine could be a little bit more tedious and difficult than you might think, and so the quicker I can get leftovers, the easier Blaine will be. Now, because I've waited, I can actually revive fossils, which is faster than just catching certain Pokemon, so that's kind of nice. But as you could expect in a solo run, getting 30 Pokemon is a slow process. So you really want to make sure it's worth it before you do it. Finally, after catching some Pokemon in the Pokemon Mansion, as well as actually going back to Viridian Forest, I can head to Route 11 to this house, talk to this guy who gives me the item finder, and then all I have to do is use the item finder, and yes, You have to use the item finder to get the leftovers. You can't just press A. I've shown this off before. And since I'm here, by the way, might as well get that rare candy that's kind of out of the way, but is not out of the way. Actually, I can also get whatever this is. But yeah, I mean, listen, when a Pokemon isn't doing well, these slight time losses actually end up saving time in the late game. Speaking of games, let's play the game. Did J-Rose remember to equip the leftovers? I'm betting the answer is no, because that would be the most J-Rose thing I could think of doing. But let's see. Unfortunately, I'm intimidated and I go for Secret Power. Crit's nice, but Secret Power is only doing a third, which is terrible. And I forgot to equip the leftovers. Hey, I win. What do I win? By the way, in case you're like, you did this run, how do you not remember? You think I remember every battle from every run I've ever done? I just know me. I know that is a mistake I would make, and oh boy, is that a mistake I made, because I don't know. Maybe I'm just afraid to show everyone the real me. Okay, I actually never saw that movie. It's like a Disney Channel movie, but there's like memes all the time of it, and it seems like one of the dumbest things. I have seen Camp Rock where they do like the crazy dance. By the way, I'm totally losing this battle. If I win, I will be stunned. Yeah. Okay. But what was I talking about? Yeah. I was making jokes about like me being me when I forgot to equip leftovers, even though I spent all the time to get leftovers. Great. And hey, wouldn't you know, in the battle where I have the right item. Now, I'm not actually sure why I'm not using Sunny Day. I'm still not 100% sure why I'm going for Secret Power. I'm pretty sure Sunny Day Flame Wheel would do more, but it doesn't really matter too much. It's annoying and tedious, especially because of bounce and healing on the Ponyta. And then, well, I mean, getting critical hits is nice, but yeah. Also, the Rapidash heals, very, very tedious. And Arcanoid's actually genuinely kind of a problem. And one thing that sucks about leftovers is it can potentially take me out of Blaze range. But in this case, it was extremely necessary. I definitely would not have had nearly enough HP without it. And we got a nice victory versus Blaine. And although we don't have Flamethrower, we do have Fire Blast, which is better. Also, in case I didn't mention this last time, you can just tell Bill no. A lot of people don't know that. They think you have to say yes, because in most Pokemon games, they give you the illusion of choice. You can just say, no, I don't feel like going through the Sevi Islands, Bill. I got stuff to do. Also, I mentioned this for Charizard, but yeah, we can't use Solar Beam with Typhlosion either. Again, that would be game-changing. I actually would have loved it if Typhlosion could learn it, and then Charizard couldn't, because that would be super interesting, and it would give Typhlosion a really interesting late-game edge, but alas. Alright, we've made it to Giovanni 3. This battle was pretty easy for Charizard. We're gonna go Sunny Day here. Scary face, kind of scary, but leftovers, I immediately am almost at full health. And hey, Flame Wheel did enough to knock it out. That's pretty good. Dugtrio comes out next. That's interesting. And it hits me with an Earthquake. That is not great, but I think with leftovers we should be fine. Interesting that Nidoqueen comes out. Oh, okay, well, yeah. That makes sense, actually. That makes a lot of sense. Well, hey, time to learn Flamethrower because I'm going to use my rare candies. And now I no longer have to use Sunny Day to one-shot the Rhyhorn, meaning I don't get with Scary Face, meaning I don't get outsped by Dugtrio, meaning Nidoqueen no longer outspeeds me, and that crit may have mattered, but who cares? Did we have to use the rare candies way earlier than I wanted to? Yeah. Could that impact us in the late game? Maybe. But I finally got Flamethrower, so I'm pretty happy. I got Flamethrower, I got Leftovers, I got Sunny Day. I see the strats going forward. I'm probably going to incorporate Substitute, because Substitute plus Leftovers is great. I don't know how it's going to be versus the final 5 battles, but I actually think it may, in terms of real time, be much quicker than Charizard, because I'm already kind of really locked into this one strategy, and it either works or it doesn't, and I level up. With Charizard, there were a lot more permutations, even without changing the moves, of how I use them, and trying to make sure I wasn't shortchanging it. This is either going to work or it's not. First, it's Rival 6 time, so I am quite a bit higher level. I can one-shot Pidgeot. I don't think that crit mattered. Rhyhorn actually comes out next, so I go for Sunny Day. It goes for Takedown. I was very fine with that, because with Leftovers, I'm actually going to be at full health by the time I knock it out. Blastoise comes out, and I go for Flamethrower. It does half. Rain Dance, we've seen this dance before. I'm going to go for Sunny Day. It goes for Water Gun. Why it still has Water Gun now, I will never know. And we don't knock it out with Flamethrower, but I don't think he heals here. And I should really start to remember that, but it didn't matter. I knock out Blastoise, and then just Flamethrower the rest of Rival 6's team to make it to the Elite Four. Once again, as I just said, I have the strat. I have the item I'm going to use. I have the moves I'm going to use. I don't have Dragon Claw. That is going to be brutal for Lance. I actually have no clue how I'm going to handle that. But only one way to find out, right? All right, Lorelei, you're up first. Typhlosion, we're going to do a Brick Break here. Pretty much, you've actually seen this pretty much with Charizard, but with leftovers, the hail becomes way less of a problem, and the substitutes. I'm going to set up a substitute against the Cloyster because it just makes sense. See what it does. Spikes is fine. Hail, lefties. Sunny Day, went for Protect. So this is actually perfect. We should first try. In fact, I actually think this is going to be more consistent than it was for Charizard, which is crazy, but it makes sense. Substitutes now are pretty much free. In fact, Lapras just went for Confuse Ray. And yeah. Like, the stats are still really good. Once I got access to Flamethrower, I knew things would be okay. It just took forever. In fact, this slow burn... Oh, I shouldn't have done that. Oh, nice. The burn. That would have been very frustrating. Just would have been tedious. It would have healed. So that was an easy victory versus Lorelei. Now it's time for Bruno. So I'd love to knock this out without having to go for substitute, but I'm going to do it anyway. And I actually got a little greedy. It went for Rock Tomb, then it went for Earthquake. Remember, though, Rock Tomb no longer is quadruple effective. And with the Sunny Day set up, thanks to that first miss, I'm going to be able to one-shot the Hitmonchan. Maybe the Machamp? Let's see. No. Almost the Machamp. It's actually going to heal here, which means I can set up a substitute if I want to, but I don't. I can just go for Flamethrower. Sun fades, that's okay. Oh, Cross Drop did more than I thought, but again, this is actually the biggest advantage of being Typhlosion. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. If Hitmonlee outspeeds, I'm done. Okay, that could have been bad. All right, so maybe we should kind of adjust this strategy a little bit. That was bad. Anyway, Agatha should be fairly easy. I don't see this being a fundamentally different strategy than something you've already seen. Again, it kind of sucks using the exact same strategies. Well, with leftovers, it's slightly different. And in fact, I did use Dragon Claw a little bit, but yeah, we're just hiding behind the substitute and then Flamethrower, Flamethrower, Flamethrower. Okay, so I'm never going to show another Agatha battle because she is very easy. But now, because I don't have Dragon Claw, I'm going to need Fire Blast. I don't see a better way. So we're going to have to use 2 stab moves. I mean, it reminds me of ye old Gyro's 11. This is what I used to do when I played Red and Blue, was just, you know, Bubble Beam and Surf when I was a little kid. Who thought that would be the optimal strat 20-something years later? Let's see if it works. All right, Gyarados, I'm going to go behind Substitute. It goes for Dragon Rage, and the leftovers are going to be massive in this battle. Sunny Day, Dragon Rage, and you can see I am only down from the start of the battle 25 HP per substitute. That cannot be overstated how huge that is. So I go for Flamethrower. It's looking to do about half. If I want to be super, super safe, I could go for Fire Blast, but actually it's not super safe because it could miss. And then I misclick and go for Sunny Day, so that sounds like something I would do. That actually cost me a ton of health because now I have to re-up the Sunny Day, and it actually goes for Hyper Beam and knocks out my substitute. This will potentially send me into Blaze range, but I'm going to get out of it pretty quickly. I am still behind a substitute for Aerodactyl, but I would love a lot more HP. It actually outspeeds. That is very concerning. That isn't something I thought could happen. So we're going to have a couple rare candies I've gotten. We're going to have to use them. What is my speed now? See, I have to look at my speed, look at Aerodactyl speed, but yeah, we cannot get outsped there. I still lost a couple times to Lorelei, so looks like that win rate isn't that much better, but we're at level 66 now. This should be better. We got the substitute. We have an odd number of HP. All that is good. And it goes bite. Right now, okay, so we're down 18. That's fine. That's fine. 120, 139, that's great. Flamethrower, Dragon Rage. Okay, so we're going to go behind the substitute, knock it out, and hopefully it doesn't go for Hyper Beam here. Perfect. And this should be enough to at least see how... Wait 1 second. First, we have to outspeed. Do we outspeed? If we don't, this is a big problem. Ooh, the sun faded. I go for Fire Blast. It does half, but Scary Face is massive. That does nothing behind a substitute. So we're at 148 HP. I go Sunny Day. It goes Outrage. This is great because it might get confused. That means I can go back behind a substitute and try to stall out the Outrage. I think this is the right play. It is confused. I'm going to try to go back behind a substitute and it hit itself in confusion. That's exactly what happens. And now time for Flamethrower. It does decent damage. Unfortunately, it snaps out of confusion, but then it goes for Hyper Beam. That means I have 2 turns to knock it out, and Lance can't heal because of the Hyper Beam. Wait, he can heal here. Oh, that was not smart. I kind of... Oh, wait. Safeguard's good. But yeah, I miss... Ooh, another Hyper Beam. I can't even insult myself because Lance is doing all these things I want to see. And now if I go for Fire Blast, I know we're good, but we miss. And Outrage doesn't knock me out. And now Flamethrower will knock it out. Why'd I go for Fire Blast? Flamethrower would have worked there. I would have won. All right. All right. That was my fault. I get one of those per run. All right. Let's just try that again. We should have won last time. We're going to win this time. We're at level 66. We're going to go behind the sub. Perfect. Dragon Rage is great. Don't want to see Hyper Beam. Sunny Day is fine. Dragon Rage is perfect. We already know we're going to be at 178. Go back behind the substitute. Dragon Rage rocks. All right, and 2 Flamethrowers should be enough. So we go Flamethrower 1, Dragon Rage, back behind the substitute. Now we just don't want to see Hyper Beam. As long as we don't see Hyper Beam, we are good. Exactly what we don't see. Perfect. And we're at 26 for Aerodactyl. I think that's what it is. 124. I go for Fire Blast. We need some good accuracy. Once again, we get Scary Face. I go for Sunny Day. We get a second Scary Face. That was a little greed, but Flamethrower will now knock it out. Dragonite comes in. Sun is strong, and I'm going to go for Fire Blast. I get a crit, which is great. It goes for Safeguard, but unfortunately, that just means Lance is going to heal here. So I go for Flamethrower, and that might do... Nah, it doesn't do half. But since Lance already healed... I don't think he can heal again with Dragonite. Anyway, he can't heal because he's going for Outrage. I think Flamethrower should do enough even without the sun, and I'm correct. And now I can just get behind a substitute because these Dragonair are kind of bad. They have to go for Dragon Rage. I set up Sunny Day. They set up Safeguard. And Fire Blast should be enough. Flamethrower, not quite. Thought it might be, but not super worried. Now just 1 Fire Blast away from winning. And there we go. The second Dragonair is down. We are ready to face the champion. Now, Charizard was 1-for-1 versus the champion. And we do have a really good setup strat because Pidgeot likes to do all sorts of nonsense. Can we go 2-for-2? Let's see. All right, we're going to go substitute. It's just the smart play. And Pidgeot, Sand Attack, love it. I go for Sunny Day, Sand Attack. Great. I'm at 178 and I go for Flamethrower and we're still behind a substitute. Rhydon comes out next. I gotta go for Flamethrower here, see how much it does. And Rhydon goes for Earthquake. That's fine. Not a big deal. I should just knock it out here because Earthquake will knock out any substitute. And I'm at full HP for Blastoise, but I'm not behind a sub. I can get behind a sub, but I just go for Flamethrower, see how much it does. It goes for Rain Dance. I can use Sunny Day. It goes for Hydro Pump, and it does quite a bit, but the lefty is really helping out. I go for Fire Blast, and Flamethrower plus Fire Blast, enough to knock out the Blastoise, and I believe that's game. Flamethrower one-shots Alakazam. Executor is weak to it, and it knocks it out. I was wondering if Chlorophyll would outspeed, but it didn't last time. And Arcanine, last time I didn't have enough HP and things got a little bit close. But in this battle, I have more than enough, even once it uses extreme speed. And this is the crazy part. Typhlosion beat the game at the second lowest level. Like, what? It's crazy. After all that, it was the second lowest level. It's because I had to use the rare candies early, right? But that is insane. And what's more insane is, you know how Venusaur and Charizard were close? Well, Sceptile and Typhlosion are just 5 minutes apart. I can't make this up, and I promise you, I didn't even know these exact numbers until I started making the videos, which was months after the runs were performed. This is just insanity. But while it's cool to talk about some low-tier legends like Typhlosion, there's a Pokemon that I think genuinely can give the water starters a run for their money. It's a Pokemon that has a unique typing. It's a Pokemon that can actually boost its stats. And it's a Pokemon that, although its hidden ability, which doesn't exist in this game, gives it a huge edge in competitive play, it's just regular stats, moveset, and I don't think this actually matters, but it looks really cool. I think there's a chance Blaziken could be the best starter in the first 3 generations at FireRed LeafGreen. I don't know if it will be, but I sure as heck want to find out. Blaziken is an interesting Pokemon. We typically think of it nowadays as a strict physical attacking firefighting type. But if I asked you, of all the 9 starters we've done, what has the highest special attack, I guarantee not one of you would have said Blaziken, but it is. It's only one better at 110, there's a couple at 109, but that is shocking, to say the least, because we don't really think of Blaziken as a special attacker. And it has a moveset that both serves it well as a physical or special attacker, but most importantly, it gets access to bulk up. And when we can bulk up, we can increase our stats. And if we combine that with the substitute and berries, we can potentially have some really, really good battles. Also, the fighting type will help it against Lorelei. We're not even close to that yet. We're still a Torchic. Now, like every other fire Pokemon, battling all the trainers in Viridian Forest is mandatory. However, like Cyndaquil, we don't get Ember quite as early as we'd like. It takes to level 10, so these battles could have been quicker, but they're not too bad. I tried Brock for the first time at level 12. I don't have high hopes, because although I can go for Focus Energy, which gives me critical hits, and combine that with Ember, which potentially could burn, I don't really think this is going to work, but hey, we got 1 critical hit, so we're at basically, it looks like 65% of our health or so against Onix, but Torchic, unlike Combuskin and Blaziken, is not fighting type, and therefore Rock Tomb is super effective. So we're going to battle Camper Liam, and we'll come back. I don't need to show this battle. Sadly, Torchic has the worst time versus Brock of the 3 fire starters, and the reasoning makes sense. Quilava evolved early, so by level 14, we already had an evolved Pokemon, and Charmander got Metal Claw, which made it really good. Having a Pokemon that is stuck using, albeit some nice critical hits, but having to rely on rock Pokemon not using rock moves, Torchic also doesn't have very good defenses. I tried, but it wasn't working, meaning we need to level up more, which sucks. That's going to cost time. I didn't go back to the forest because in this game, there are way less Kakuna and Metapod, so it's actually faster just to feint to Geodude. And funny enough, once I got to level 15, it actually worked a bit better. You see, at level 15, I go for Growl, and it just kind of worked out a bit better. I also got a little luckier in terms of what Onix used. I don't know. The truth was, I was just going to battle again and again until I either became Combuskin or I won, and I won a little earlier than I expected. So maybe I could have done this at level 14, but I do think this was a fair representation. We also can immediately teach Rock Tomb, which is going to be really good. Remember that the next time we see Torchic, it's going to be Combuskin, and the next battle we're going to get in is versus Rival 2, who has a flying type. This is one complication. The fact we're fighting type makes Pidgeotto/Pidgeot way worse. I miss with Rock Tomb, it goes for Sand Attack. I'm probably going to reset here. Yeah. Well, not going to first try victory, but I'd rather not waste my time. Sometimes you just get some bad luck with accuracy and more accuracy, so best to just try again. Mega Kick actually one-shots. So it turns out I didn't need Rock Tomb at all. And then Double Kick, yeah, you get Double Kick right away. It 4 shots, but like 2 shots, you know what I mean? Because Double Kick hits twice. And then Abra, I guess I just go for Double Kick here. Funny enough, there's no better option. And yeah, as you can see, this moveset is very, very good. We did, like all the other fire Pokemon, battled extra trainers in Mount Moon. I needed to make sure I could get by Pidgeotto, and looks like I did the right thing, because one-shotting it was key. It was also really fast. And now we can go and beat all these trainers. In fact, we can just use Ember against some of these bug Pokemon. Nothing is going to stand in our way, since even the rock Pokemon, which I haven't talked about in the previous 2 runs, but they can be a little irritating. With Double Kick, they can't even land a hit against me. Not gonna lie, I felt pretty confident after those routes 24 and 25, so I battled Misty right away. I went for Double Kick against Staryu, but it outsped me, and that's a problem. Now I'm going to have to go for Mega Kick, and if it doesn't one-shot, I lose. In fact, it doesn't even matter because the Starmie does one-shot. Still, I just want to try a few more times, see if maybe there are some damage ranges and rolls that would work. But here's what could also happen. Staryu can go for Harden, and if that happens, we're at full HP, and then we can go for Rock Tomb to slow down Starmie, plus Mega Kick to knock it out. This would have been a lot easier had we done it later, like the other 2 runs, but the fact we could beat Misty within 3 battles, this was my 3rd battle, and not have to battle the extra trainers like the other 2 fire starters did, well, it's a good sign, guys. It's a good sign. Rival 3 is pretty easy. I get access to Brick Break. I actually went for Mega Kick, which was just so dumb. I wanted to see if it would one-shot, but I miss a couple times because of course I do, and yet still, I just feel confident. Now, Kadabra is also super effective, so the rival and champion battles are going to be more difficult, and the fact is, it looks like I'm going to lose, right? Well, not when you have a Combuskin with Brick Break. It is so good that even when I had no business winning and made the worst plays early on, put myself in a terrible position, I still win on the first try. That means for the first time in this video, I can battle Surge right away. And unfortunately, Combuskin's already been paralyzed, but I was feeling confident. It goes for Screech, I go for Brick Break, that's 1 down. Double Team, Brick Break misses. Double Team, Brick Break hits, 2 down. And can we get 3 for 3? Shockwave doesn't do that much, but Brick Break does a lot. And I could have healed, but I wanted to see if I could do it paralyzed just as a joke. One thing that is different, I mentioned this in the minimum battles run, but there is a mandatory battle in Surge's gym that is not mandatory in Gen 1. There are some slight changes to where trainers are in these games, so that's why I was paralyzed. But easy, guys, and I have really nothing to say until we get to Celadon. Now, I probably didn't need to do this, but I battled Giovanni first. You might think that's a mistake, but Brick Break one-shots Onyx and Rhyhorn, but Kangaskhan goes for Fake Out, and if it had landed Mega Punch, I actually would have lost. And, oh, I might still lose. Oh, went for Tail Whip. All right, okay, that was a bad play. I should have done Erika, and then I would have had Blaziken, but hey, first try victory is a first try victory. You may notice I have Rock Slide. That is a one-time move tutor move, which I picked up in Rock Tunnel. But you can see that now I'm going to Erika's gym. I don't even bother healing because I don't need to. And the reason I skipped Erika's gym, to be perfectly honest with you, and I'm not even going to battle extra trainers. That's why I actually went to the other side. I forgot this side is the one with less Pokemon. It's, again, different in red and blue, but this is the side we want to go to. Is that once we become a Blaziken, we will get Blaze Kick, which is a far better move than Ember, and I kind of wanted that for Erika. Unfortunately, the math didn't actually work out, and I was just off, so I should have battled the other trainer. As Combuskin and with Ember, I simply just didn't have enough HP to knock out the Vileplume. I mean, I should have healed. I'm getting a little too greedy in trying to see what I can get away with, but this in no way is going to negatively impact Combusken's time or anything, because we can just save and battle one extra trainer. If anything, it's just cool to see, like, how good this thing really is. And as you'd expect, after I evolve, Erika is just a joke. We're now going to outspeed Victory Bell and one-shot it with Blaze Kick. Blaze Kick can miss, so it is inferior to Flamethrower, but it's better than Flame Wheel. And yeah, 3 hits, 3 one-shots, easy peasy. I didn't battle as many trainers this time because Blaziken doesn't seem to need it. And now we'll collect Fly first and battle Rival 4. It's funny to think the one time I used Rock Tomb was actually against Misty. It's just so funny, but I can go for Rock Slide here and knock out the Pidgeotto. That's 1 down. Execute. It is a Psychic type. That's why I came out here, but I go for Blaze Kick. Then Kadabra, another Psychic type. I go for Blaze Kick. Remember, base 110 power. Then I can go for Brick Break, and it's still one-shotting. Growlithe is next. Intimidate, not a problem, and thankfully, it's the last Pokemon to come out. You'll also notice I have Bulk Up. That is via Level Up, and we're going to use it. I mentioned it earlier. Didn't need it here, though. Easy, easy battle. All right, mid-game time. First, Koga is up. He leads with Coughing. Special attacks are better, but I accidentally clicked Brick Break and then got poisoned, so we're not going to first try Victory, but that really shouldn't count. That was a simple misclick. I should, however, equip, just in case... Oh, do I even have? Yeah, there it is, Pecha Berry. You know, just in case I have Cherry Berry for paralysis, so using berries is actually something that I should do. You collect a bunch of them on the ground. Anyway, this time I go for Blaze Kick, which one-shots Coughing. Muck will not be a one-shot, I don't think. It's actually going to be a 3-shot, and I go for Bulk Up here just in case... Ooh, Toxic, but that's what Cherry Berry is for. Now, both Rock Slide and Blaze Kick have the same accuracy, so I go for Rock Slide, but it isn't enough to knock out Muck, and Muck is going to heal. So maybe I need to adjust strategy here. Muck healed, and then I went Blaze Kick and Rock Slide. Lucky I hit those, but I might still be able to win. Coughing, I know I can knock it out with Blaze Kick, but at this point, I think I need a clutch flinch. No, it doesn't even matter. I actually come really close with Blaze to knocking it out. Funny enough, if we were in Generation 4, then Blaze Kick would be a physical move and it would be powered up by Bulk Up. But I think we got it this time. So I'm going to go Blaze Kick against Coughing. I should probably set up the Bulk Up right away, but I'll go Blaze Kick, Acid Armor. Oh, that changes things. So I'm going to go Rock Slide. Oh no, poisoned. And I forgot to equip the Cherry Berry. Darn. But that actually might work out. I knock out Coughing, and now I should be in Blaze range. It's not going to be enough to knock out Wheezing, but it did burn it. Sadly, the poison knocked me out before the burn knocked it out. So yeah, that was a case of me saving before I equipped the berry. This happens all the time. And now you'll see I'll save after. 2:15, by the way, is a very, very good time to Koga. So let's see how this goes. All right, this shouldn't have taken 3 attempts, but let's be honest, there have been some mistakes made. Blaze Kick, Minimize. Darn it. I'm going to go Rock Slide here. Muck flinches. Ah, no, it heals. See, I'm trying to avoid that. But I can go Rock Slide, Sludge, and... Oh, it heals again. I didn't realize Koga had 2 Hyper Potions. Well, I keep going for Rock Slide until I'm knocked into Blaze range, but this actually isn't going to work, sadly. No, actually, I missed Coughing. Wow. Turns out Koga's going to be a little bit more difficult than I thought. It's always, you know, it's always interesting what's going to be difficult. I feel like I've gotten really bad luck, to be completely honest with you. Again, a miss with Blaze Kick. I mean, that's the one thing about using moves with 90% accuracy. I maybe should be a bit more aggressive with Bulk Up, to be perfectly honest with you. It's hard to know what to commit to. Blaze Kick, that's good. And then Muck, I'm going to go Blaze Kick. Toxic, I'm okay. And then I'm going to go Brick Break. That won't take it into healing range, and that's what I needed to do. So I had to kind of strategy that one out, but it's all right because I'm at full health for Wheezing. I go Blaze Kick, Toxic even misses, and I win with full health. Isn't that just the way? All right, for Rival 5-0, I go for Bulk Up, hoping it won't go for Sand Attack. Wing Attack does decent damage, but Now I will easily knock it out with Rock Slide. I go for Blaze Kick, and that'll easily knock out Execute. Now with Alakazam, I'm going to go for Rock Slide. Oh, it went for Future Sight. It actually went for Brick Break by accident. Whoops. Anyway, that worked out. Slash I don't need. Next is going to be Blastoise, and that time I meant to go for Brick Break. It goes for Protect, and then it doubles up on Protect. I actually don't knock it out with Brick Break, but thankfully I do outspeed it, and then I should knock out Growlithe with Brick Break, even though Intimidate takes me back to neutral. So, normally Koga's pretty easy and Rival Fivel's pretty difficult, but Blaziken, it seemed to be reversed. Who I don't think will be very difficult is Giovanni number 2. I start just outside of Blaze range, which sucks, and I get poisoned, so I'm going to lose. But the idea was to get damaged by Nidorino, not from poison. I probably should just go for Rock Slide then, to be honest with you, and then try to knock everything out. Actually, Bulk Up should be the play. It goes for Horn Attack, and now Rock Slide will knock it out, and I'm in Blaze range, so this is perfect. Nidoqueen, all right, this hopefully will one-shot. Crit may have mattered. Uh-oh, Poison Point. I think I just lost. Yep. That was a loss. I needed to equip another Cherry Berry. Oh, gosh. Well, all right. I do have another one. Okay. You guys aren't going to believe this. This was done in July. We're in November now. I made the same mistake twice. Both in the narration and in the run. I wasn't looking at the screen. I was actually just thinking about what I should do. Oh my god, I can't believe I just did that. I can't believe I did that. Like, you know what? You can't say I'm not consistent. Consistently, like, bad, sure. But there is consistency. Oh, that didn't knock it out. All right, well, I'm at 24 HP. And now we get to see if I even one-shot a Nidoqueen. The answer is no. It went for Tail Whip. We got lucky there. Unless we get poisoned, in which case we got very unlucky. All right. Oh, Fake Out. Wait, we almost got super duper unlucky. Oh my gosh. I need to start healing more. Let's be real. Any struggles or apparent struggles with Blaziken is me trying to rush things and not heal. If I just bought more potions or healed more, we'd be fine. So, yeah, I mean, that is what it is. I'm being a little bit more aggressive with it, but truth be told, I could have just bought some more potions. The thing is, these are just kind of theory crafting first runs. If I were to do this run again, I would buy more potions and have those on hand, because I go to Marts all the time, and that would make a lot of these battles easy first try victories. It does also go to show while Blaziken is good, it's not like Mewtwo I can completely disrespect every trainer type of good. Now, in most of the runs, I battled Sabrina before Blaine, the proper order, but because I'm fighting type, I'd like to battle Blaine first. I'm getting hit by Intimidate, which sucks, but I can just go for Bulk Up here. Growlithe goes for Takedown, which is fine. I can set up another Bulk Up. Fire Blast misses. I can set up another Bulk Up. Fire Blast hits. And you know what? That should be good. Rock Slide should knock out the Growlithe. It's just about not missing. I can even go for Brick Break against Ponyta. Against Rapidash, I should probably switch back to Rock Slide. And then Arcanine, I should one-shot. I think I'm +1. And yeah, I do one-shot. I think I'm +3 on defense, +1 on attack. But whatever I was, it was enough. Easy victory versus Blaine. Now, Sabrina can be kind of interesting because she is a Psychic type, and I don't have great moves for Psychic Pokemon. I use Rock Slide, actually, against Kadabra, and it does one-shot. For Mr. Mime, I use Rock Slide and actually one-shots again. Venomoth, I could have gone Blaze Kick, but Rock Slide will work. And then, will I outspeed Alakazam? The answer is no. It goes for Psychic, but Rock Slide with a crit. One-shots. I think the crit may have mattered there, but I don't care. Win's a win. I've been getting a lot of bad luck, so I'll take a little bit of good there. Just one gym leader left. Giovanni 3, otherwise known as 3-Giovanni. I tried just going for Brick Break, and it is enough to knock out the first Rhyhorn. And then Dugtrio comes up, but it is going to outspeed me. While I can knock it out in one hit, I'm only at 45 HP, which could be a problem. And I actually don't do enough without a Bulk Up to knock out the second Rhyhorn. So we may need to either use a Bulk Up or potentially use the rare candies here. But that wouldn't be too surprising. So Bulk Up against Rhyhorn 1, it goes for Scary Face, which is a problem because now everything is going to outspeed me. However, Dugtrio Earthquake only does now I have 80 HP, so that's fine. Rhyhorn doesn't outspeed me, and I'll knock it out. So at the very least, I've made it to the Nidos, but I accidentally went for Brick Break, and Earthquake did a lot, and I was outsped. So that's actually, again, a problem where Bulk Up, if I had a physical move, would be great, but I have to use the special attack simply because these are the best moves to have, or so I think. So Scary Face again against Rhyhorn 1, but I set up a second Bulk Up this time. Another Scary Face. I set up a third Bulk Up. It goes for Earthquake, and I'm at 89 HP. Were these extra Bulk Ups worth it? Well, I'm at 54 after Dugtrio, and I have to outspeed this Rhyhorn, which I do. So same outcome, but more defense. Nidoqueen goes for Earthquake, and yeah, it's not enough. I am in Blaze range, so I do a lot, but again, not enough. And Giovanni just keeps healing. Eventually, though, because Nidoqueen outspeeds, I am going to lose. So I may need to rare candy here. This was a battle Charizard had a massive, massive advantage in because, of course, Earthquake can't hit a flying Pokemon. For as good as Blaziken is, it doesn't actually have a great matchup here. As good as its moves are, against Poison and Ground Pokemon, nothing really stands out as amazing. I mean, ironically, Earthquake would be fantastic, but how do you get Earthquake in this game? You get it from Giovanni. Having said that, there are way more moves I could use that I'm not using, and let's go and use them. So here's the new strat. Substitute. Hey, we've been using it a lot. I knew Scary Face was coming. That means I get Bulk Up. Earthquake's gonna knock it out, but I think the trade-off is worth it even though I have to use Fire Blast. In theory, I'd love to use Dig, but Dig, of course, is hit by Earthquake. This actually is a little bit challenging. But alas for Giovanni, there is a solution that will work. Rare candies. I mean, you knew it had to maybe happen, but unless I want to delete Brick Break, which I could do that because you can get more of them. Instead, well, after the rare candies, something really weird happens. This time, for whatever reason, the Rhyhorn refuses to go for Earthquake. I don't quite understand the loop it is in right now, but it really feels like a loop. Eventually, I get frustrated and just go for Brick Break, probably earlier than I needed to. But being at a higher level, I now outspeed Dugtrio, and I will one-shot and knock out anything. The question, well, actually, will I? Okay, I do. The question I was about to ask is, does Poison Point work through a substitute? There is someone here who will know these interactions, but yeah, Giovanni proved to be a lot more challenging than I thought. Go figure. But now we can go after we heal and battle Rival 6, and I should have, even with these two moves, a really good chance at first try victorying it. All right, so we're gonna need to figure out, I think we should just substitute, just in case of a Sand Attack or Feather Dance, and now we can Bulk Up Feather Dance. Is this gonna be another loop? No, but Wing Attack now can't do enough to knock out Substitute in one hit. So once it knocks it out, actually that crit may have been the reason for that, but whatever, I can then go and if I fully set up, we should be fine. How many more do I need? Also, don't forget, can't really use Blaze. You know, let's just go. 44 and behind a substitute. That's 1. I'm just going to go Brick Break. That's 2. Alakazam can't stand up to Brick Break. Blastoise, that should be 3. Funny enough, Executor now becomes kind of a difficulty, but I don't get hit by Intimidate by Growlithe since I'm behind a substitute. Rhyhorn, and then, yeah, Executor. Oh, actually, it's just an Execute. Right. What am I thinking? Oh, gosh. I was worried about nothing. That was easy. And you can see how with these moves, and yes, once again, Substitute just so good. I will say this, though. Substitute plus a boosting move can be really, really, really good, especially if that move like Calm Mind or like Bulk Up is both offensive and defensive. It can be phenomenal. So this makes sense, but having to stick to just 2 attacking moves might be a problem. I think Lorelei's going to be okay. Bruno, too. Agatha, a bit of a question mark. Should be fine. Lance and the Champ, though. We'll see. You know what? We could speculate all day. Let's find out. All right. Well, I'm not sure why I went for Substitute there. That made no sense. And, of course, just knocked out with Surf. But here is where I actually want to go for Substitute. Unfortunately, Hail is up, and once Cloyster sets up spikes, I thought it might go for Protect, but it then went for Dive, which isn't the end of the world because we're able to set up more bulk ups. And in theory, I could set up another substitute, but it's a little risky. So I'm just going to knock out Cloyster. I have 50 HP remaining. Now, we could also delete Brick Break for Sky Uppercut, and I do that, but I might regret it because it has a 10% chance to miss. It is, though, strong enough to knock out Lapras in one hit. The question is Slowbro. I actually... that's why. 90%. That was Rock Slide, though. All right, take 2 now. This time, we're just not going to be ridiculous. No, don't go for Bulk Up. There you go. Brick Break. I don't know what old J-Rose is thinking, but modern J-Rose, he knows what to do. We're just going to go for Bulk Up here. Spikes is fine. And then I go for Bulk Up again. I don't even need to be behind a substitute, really. Another Bulk Up. Hail. The idea is if it goes for Dive, I just use Substitute to block that, but it never did, so I just knock it out with Brick Break. I, this time, don't go for Sky Uppercut because, well, don't want to miss again. Brick Break knocks out Lapras, but here is where something very unfortunate happens. I didn't use enough Bulk Ups. Rock Slide isn't enough to knock out Slowbro, and Surf, as great as Blaziken is, its base 70 special defense is nothing to write home about. That last attempt was 4 bulk ups, so if you're thinking, well, J-Rose just used 5 this time, well, yeah, that's literally exactly what I do. And shockingly, at that point, unless we get a miss, which we don't, we win. Hooray! I mean, that wasn't very difficult to see coming. That's 1 down, 4 to go. Bruno shouldn't be too bad. And this is an example of where potentially Substitute and Bulk Up can help. I'm going to go Substitute here. It goes for Earthquake. All right. I didn't know if it would do that. So I'm going to go Bulk Up here. How much does it do? Actually, that's pretty good. So I'll Brick Break. That should one-shot the Onix. Of course it does. And it should one-shot the second Onix. The question is, do I one-shot the other Pokemon? Hitmonchan, okay, that's good. Now it's just up to Machamp, because Hitmonlee has worse defense than Hitmonchan. So, and we level up here. We either one-shot Machamp or we could be in a little trouble. We don't. Actually, it just has Rock Tomb, so we're fine. Okay, now on to Agatha. We're going to have to rely on Rock Slide, which I don't love, but it's not the end of the world. Interestingly enough, I mean, we're a fire Pokemon, right? We're not really using any fire moves anymore. This is really the first time in one of these runs where we're completely ignoring the primary type of the Pokemon. Fighting is just so much better for Blaziken that we're just using that. All right, so you've seen this strat now twice before. Actually, you've seen it many times. Although, it's going to be frustrating because this is going to, you know what? I should just knock this out. Great. Because, oh no! All right, well, I'm going to have to go for Bulk Up. I don't want to run out of power points. That's the thing. I only have 7, thank goodness. I actually could legitimately run out because Golbat, we're going to need it. That means there's just 5 more. We should be fine, but I don't want to lose. In theory, we could go for Brick Break against Arbok if we had to. Although, interesting, the final Gengar does outspeed me. And then, yeah, we had enough rocks. Oh, it didn't one-shot. I did not expect that. I think we're +2. So we need to be +3 for Arbok. Not that Arbok is that big of a threat, but good to know. Lance is where things might be tough because even though, as we've learned, Gyarados can't actually hit me with water moves, it can, temporarily at least, lower my attack, and Dragonite can be a giant pain. So I'm going to equip the Citrus Berry. I had Lumberry just in case. Gonna have the Citrus Berry here. And let's see if we can beat Lance first try. We have yet to come even close to that. Let's see if this is going to be the exception. Okay. So Gyarados Intimidate, we know the drill. Substitute, it's just going to go Dragon Rage here because Bite would be not very effective. The bulk ups don't help, right? It's just 40 damage every single time. So that means I can set up, I think, 4. Oh, wait, and go for Twister. Hey, look at that. I actually was wrong. Never happens. First time ever. All right, but I don't want to get greedy. I am +1 only, sadly. So that might not be enough. Aerodactyl, we don't outspeed, and we don't tank it with the sub intact. That's not great. Dragonite, we do outspeed. We don't one-shot, and Outrage knocks us out. So that means we need to be at 3 bulk ups plus 2 in order to one-shot the Dragonite. I think that's doable. I am proud to report for the very first time, Blaziken seems to have a good time versus Lorelei because we made it right back to Lance on our very next attempt. So we got to be smart. We're going to go substitute here. Dragon Rage is most likely very good. 1 bulk up. So now we're even. Twister, that's fine. Essentially, it's the same thing. All right. Twister, that's fine. Citrus Berry, that is 2 bulk ups. That's not enough. Twister actually is worse. Ooh, this is great. We want to see Twister. Okay, nice. So we're going minus substitute again. Twister. I'm going to use another bulk up. And then I think we can go behind substitute. Nah, actually, never mind. Let's just go Rock Slide, knock it out, and then Aerodactyl. Wait a minute. Oh, okay, that's fine. Because the bulk ups will survive. But yeah, I should have used a substitute. That was a mistake. No missing. Actually, we're good. We made it to the champ. Because we can just go Brick Break. This is why I didn't want Sky Uppercut. No risks. Just go Brick Break. Okay, I don't know why I was scrolling, but in the end, I think I was looking at PowerPoints to see how many I needed for the champ, but I believe I have the max elixir. I do, so we're fine. We have the max elixir. We have the Citrus Berry. We have bulk up. Honestly, did not anticipate being bulk up, Rock Slide, substitute, but hey, if it works, it works. Can we first try Victory the Champ? We've done that before. Let's see. First things first, gotta get behind that substitute, and Feather Dance, nice. 1 bulk up. Aerial Ace, ooh, it knocked it out. Oh, that's bad. Okay, go minus substitute. Darn. See, now I think I gotta go and chance it. You know what? I'll just go Rock Slide here. That's fine. Just get rid of Pidgeot. It's really frustrating. Next is Rhydon. Oh, God. Let's Brick Break. Yes. But Alakazam. Oh, it outspeeds. Okay. All right. That's bad. Blaziken, for all the good stats it has, the base 80 speed isn't amazing. I didn't see that one coming. I should, but I didn't. And I don't know how he would have handled Blastoise because we aren't using like Sunny Day. I have this completely arbitrary and irrelevant reel timer I use for the stream, just so people who come in understand how long I've been doing this run. And I actually paused it because I legitimately went to the computer to try and think about various movesets and strategies. This right now is not going to work as is, but I think Blaziken is good enough that I could come up with a strategy that should work. Obviously, Pidgeot didn't cooperate, but I think we can do this. I just have to think. It took me a while to get back here, but since I didn't show any other battles, as you correctly may have assumed, I decided to stick with the strategy and see if I could get a little bit more luck. I go for substitute, and again, Aerial Ace. Well, crit wouldn't have helped. I'm looking for Feather Dance and Sand Attack. I absolutely need this, because if I can set up... I just can't get it. If I can set up, then we might be able to do this. There's Sand Attack. I'm now +2. Perfect. Now I'm +3. All right, Aerial Ace isn't strong enough to take it out. I'm going to knock out the Pidgeot behind the substitute. I need to do that because Alakazam is just too strong. We know we one-shot Rhydon. That's okay. And now we have Alakazam. Psychic is going to knock me out. I go for Brick Break. But if I set up enough, I might be able to one-shot everything. Blastoise, do we one-shot? Yes. Yes, we do. But Executor is also a problem. I go for Rock Slide. Not enough. Sleep Powder, I'm asleep. It goes for full restore. Wait, I could maybe wake up. No. Light Screen. Wait, what? What? Egg Bomb. Wait, it doesn't have a Psychic move. And it missed with Egg Bomb. Wait, I'm going to set up another bulk up. Egg Bomb. Let's go. Rock Slide. One last one. No! No! I had it. I know! I had it. Why did I do that? I should have just gone behind a substitute. I thought that was the right play. I was a little worried about Arcanine with extreme speed, but... all right, we're close. We're close. So this was the right strategy. I just need luck. All right, wait. You know what? I have one more idea. One more idea. Let's go substitute. Get me... all right, nice. Feather Dance. +1. Yes, yes. Keep doing it. Now you're not going to be able to knock things out. Keep going. Yes, we're +4 now. We're +5 now. We actually can go all the way to +6. We can go to +6, even if it goes Aerial Ace. All right, let's just go back behind the substitute. My whole idea was to use Aerial Ace, but whatever. I was going to use Aerial Ace because I thought it would do more damage versus Executor, and I didn't need Rock Slide. So that would have been really funny to use, but in the end, Pidgeot just had to cooperate. I can actually go for Brick Break, and Alakazam goes for Future Sight. Come on. Like, it's like when it rains, it pours, and when it suns, it just gives you such a drought, the whole Earth's oceans evaporate. Like, really, really funny how that worked. But anyway, Blaziken at level 65 is able to beat the entirety of the game. But was it fast enough? It's at a low level. It looks like it could be the best, but we have to see. Hall of Fame, what are you going to tell me? How long did Blaziken take? It's level 65, it's in the Hall of Fame, and it did it in 3 hours and 35 minutes. The champion of Generation 3 starters for FireRed and LeafGreen is none other than the ultimate, other than Infernape, firefighting Pokemon, Blaziken. Tell me, did you honestly think it would be Blaziken? I mean, it's not really used in speedruns. People really don't respect pre-hidden ability Blaziken, but it did it at the second lowest level in by far the fastest time. That is what a move like Bulk Up will do, and that is it for the Generation 3 starters. One day I'd love to try this again in Emerald version. I don't know if that's something you guys would want to see. Maybe it'd be too repetitive. I don't know if we'd get the exact same results. Emerald is a very, very different game. And for sure, in our next comparison, the Evolutions, we're going to get very different results, I can assure you. But for now, that's all I've got. I was able to keep this one under 2 hours. Very proud of myself. And I got to stop talking in order to keep it that way. Thank you all for watching. See you all in the next video. Take care.